Here are 3 light setups you can do right now at your home with RGB tubes. Oh, and the last one is actually my favorite, so stay tuned. Welcome guys, Evansby here, Montreal photographer. So the setups I'm about to show you are using 2 RGB tube lights, so you need 2. And in this case, we're using 2 ambitful A2 RGB tube lights. They're quite small, quite fun to pack, and pretty useful. So this is not a sponsored video, but for the sake of full disclosure, I did receive these for free for demonstration. And also all the setups I'm about to show you include all the camera functions and also approximate distance that you can replicate using this similar amount of gear. So let's get into it. The first setup is what we're going to call a lighting cross. First, place your subject sideways so that the side of his face is facing the camera. For the light setting, when your subject is placed, place 1 light using a tripod in front of the subject, camera left, and approximately 12 inches away from your subject. Turn your light to its maximum power and select the number on screen by clicking the arrow button. After placing the first A2, place a second light behind the subject at approximately 30 to 45 degrees and select a color, in this case blue, by pressing the set button until you reach the HSL function. In HSL, adjust your main light to 39 degrees and the second value to 63L. You can do that very easily though with the app or pick the color that you really want. The small and ambitful RGB lights are 8 watt each. So set your camera at ISO 800, f2.8 and a shutter speed of 100. Again, you can make your life really easy by putting this on a tripod, or if you're handheld, you can go higher if ever you get those lights closer, but I wouldn't go past there because it's not necessary. For this shot and the rest of the shots, I'm using a Tamron 70-180mm 2.8. But you can also do this very easily with a, let's say, 85 1.8 or maybe even a 50 1.8. It depends on you and the subject. My camera is set up at Kelvin 5000 and approximately 3 feet away from the subject. You can also recreate this setup using more natural colors, let's say 5500K. You can both place the lights and your camera to 5500K for a more natural looking result. For the next setup, let's call it the Alpha. For this, we will need 2 light stand with boom arms. If you have a tripod with a ball head and a 1/4 inch screw thread, you're good to go. The ambitful A2 has its own 1/4 inch screw thread, female adapter, and they're quite light. You can easily attach a tripod or a light into it, or even a boom arm, like in this case. Place your lights making an A position like you see on screen and set your lights to either 50% or 100% power, depending on the distance you have between your subject. Place both lights less than a foot away from your subject for the maximal impact and using less batteries. Set your cameras at the following settings on screen and take your shot. And look at those beautiful catch lights. And also, this is actually pretty useful for video if you want to do a talking head, very subdued. And lastly, here is my favorite setup, the edge shot. So this shot using flash is a little complicated, but with these small RGB lights, it makes it really easy. And again, this path is optional, but in order to improve that shot, just make sure you do the following. Use a dark background, black or very dark gray. Use the SA25 grids that are included into the 2 light kit that is included with the ambitful A2 2 light kit. Very important. This will make the light more precise and also a little more dramatic. And lastly, make sure you dress your subject in very dark color themes to get the maximum impact of the edge shot. As always, we'll start with the lights. Set both of your lights in CCT mode at 5500K by pressing the set button and set your lights to 100% by pressing the plus and minus sign. Place both lights behind your subject upright. Again, you can use the 1/4 inch thread here, it makes it really easy. Position the lights about 36 to 2 feet away from the subject, depending if ever you go landscape or in portrait mode. Aim to have both lights at a 45-degree angle and make sure they hit the edge of your subject. On screen, you should see the camera settings I'm using currently. And if you did it right, you should see right now both edges of your subject's face. And you should use this setting or setup and start as a base and explore from there. This can be really useful if ever you're doing some incognito shot or something very dark and subdued, or you want to imitate Chris Brown, because this is where I got the inspiration for this setup. And also using here the Android app is really helpful to manipulate both light colors and power and make the shot really dynamic. Or turn it to black and white and raise the clarity slider for more dramatic impact. And if you want to purchase your own ambitful A2 kit, I left links below to purchase them, and also other RGB tubes I recommend that can perform the same, but these are quite small and practical. I'll see you in the next video.